We'd love to tell you a bit of our story about why we're moving to Sheffield. We've been based in Oxford for the last 10 years, where we've been involved in leading a local church here, and we've absolutely loved our time in Oxford and going to miss it so much, particularly all the people here. But we felt for a while that God's been calling us to be part of a wider prophetic call within our family of churches, the Catalyst Network, to plant more churches in the north of our country. And while we've known that for a period of time, we've not known where, and obviously there's quite a number of cities and towns in the north. So we reached a point where we're like, the only way to take this further is to actually start visiting different towns and cities in the north. But before we did this, we were having dinner with our friends one evening. We hadn't told many people about it at this point, but we decided to tell our friends about it, and we told them that we were moving. But before we'd shared anything about where we were thinking, they felt God speaking to them for us about Yorkshire and palm trees.
So as we visited a few places the following week, we sort of had those words in mind as we visited different cities in the north. And it was as we were walking around Sheffield, we got really excited and felt faith rising in us for the city. We really loved being there, and as we were standing in the heart of the city in front of the town hall, we realised we were looking at some palm trees just behind some fountains, and we thought, oh, God might be wanting to get our attention here. And from there we moved next door to a place called the Winter Gardens, which we'd never been to before or seen online, and it's basically a massive urban greenhouse, and it was just full of huge palm trees. And it was at that moment we thought God really is trying to get our attention here, and it might be that Sheffield is the place that he's wanting us to move to plant this new church. And so we moved from there to the sort of next main high street, and we came across a market, and the first market stall we came to, they were selling 6-foot palm trees. And so we knew from that point that God was speaking to us, and that it was Sheffield that he wanted us to move to plant this new church. So as a family, we're really excited about moving this summer. It's quite an adventure trying to move during this season, but God's been so good and being so faithful to us, and we're just really excited for all that's to come.
So we don't think it's any coincidence that God first spoke to us about moving to Sheffield while we're standing in the Peace Gardens. And palm trees are also, alongside other things, sometimes thought of as a symbol of peace. And peace in the Bible isn't an insignificant theme. In fact, it comes up an awful lot. Peace in the Bible is so much more than just tranquility or an absence of war. It speaks of a completeness, a wholeness, a completeness and wholeness that we can know only through Jesus' work in our lives, to be able to know and experience peace with God. And palm trees as well, they come up in the Bible lots of times, and one of them most significantly for us has been Psalm 92. And Psalm 92 paints this beautiful picture of palm trees flourishing where they've been planted in the house of God being where God's presence dwells. When people are planted, when they're rooted in God's presence, when they put God at the centre of their lives, they can know God's peace, what it is to be complete and whole in him, and be able to flourish in all that God's calling them to do.
So this is really our heart for everyone who comes to help us plant this new church in Sheffield, that as we gather together, as we experience God's presence, we would know more of his peace, and that we would really flourish, both individually but also together as a community. And this is also our heart for the city, for Sheffield, that we would really bring peace, and that we'd really contribute something positive to the city, to really see it flourish and not just to consume from it. And we know that there are lots of great churches in Sheffield already doing amazing work, and we're really looking forward to growing friendships with those churches and really working alongside them to help Sheffield flourish. Our dream really is to build a church family that really serves the poor and really brings hope to those who are broken and in need of help, and that we would also be a community that really bravely and courageously shares the love of Jesus with everyone that we meet, wherever we go.